What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the MMA Zone. We've got a packed episode today, so let us jump straight into it. Starting with the big question coming out of UFC 395. What is next for Alexander Volkanovski? There was a lot of debate heading into this fight. Many fans felt the UFC gave Diego Lopes a huge opportunity by granting him an immediate rematch against Volkanovski. Some believed it was a risky move, others thought Lopes deserved another shot, but either way, expectations were high. And while Lopes came in hungry and ready to fight, once again he quite get it done. From the opening round, Lopes showed why he considered one of the most dangerous featherweights in the division. He pushed the pace, stayed aggressive, and tried to force Volkanovski into uncomfortable exchanges. But just like in their first meeting, Volkanovski stayed calm, patient, and composed. He did T-rush, he did T-panic, and he picked his moments carefully. As the fight wore on, it became clear that the champion was landing the cleaner, sharper shots. Lopes had his moments, but Volkanovski's timing, defense, and ability to control the rhythm of the fight made the difference. After 5 minutes, there was much debate about the result. Volkanovski got his hand raised, proving once again why he is the man at featherweight. Following the fight, Islam Makhachev reacted on Instagram, calling Volkanovski the greatest, and immediately sparking conversation about what could be next. But Volkanovski himself was already thinking ahead. Right after the bout, he reiterated something he's been saying for a while now. He is open to fighting the winner of the upcoming matchup between Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy. That fight has been rumored as a possible main event for the UFC's March 20th on its card in London, and it could have massive title implications. There has also been talk about Arman Tsarukyan potentially moving down to featherweight if things don't go his way at lightweight. Arman himself has said he'd be open to chasing gold at 145. But during the post-fight press conference, Volkanovski made his stance very clear. He doesn't want anyone skipping the line. Volkanovski explained that he sees being champion as a responsibility. In his view, rankings exist for a reason, and fighters who earn their spot deserve their opportunity. While he's willing to stay active and fight often, he does believe in letting people jump ahead of contenders who've already done the work. He made it clear he'll talk things over with the UFC, but ultimately he wants to do what is right as a champion. Given that neither Murphy nor Evloev has lost in the UFC, and considering Volkanovski has repeatedly stated he is willing to fight either man, it seems logical that the winner of that fight would be next in line. When asked how he sees that matchup playing out, Volkanovski leaned toward Evloev coming out on top. He acknowledged Murphy's footwork and game planning, but believes Evloev's strength and grappling could be the deciding factor. While he admitted it would be an interesting fight either way, if he had to pick, he said Evloev likely gets the job done. And when it came to which opponent he'd personally prefer to face, Volkanovski did shy away from the question. He noted that both fighters being undefeated makes for a great storyline, but Evloev's wrestling-heavy style and unbeaten record stood out. In his eyes, that matchup represents the new era of the sport, and that exactly the kind of challenge he is interested in. Switching gears, let's talk about Diego Lopes, because his future is suddenly a lot more uncertain. At just 21 years old, it would be foolish to write him off completely. However, losing 2 title shots in 3 fights is tough, no matter how you look at it. After the fight, Volkanovski shared his thoughts on Lopes, praising his toughness and well-rounded skill set. He pointed out that Lopes is dangerous and capable, but still needs to put all the pieces together. Volkanovski also admitted that stylistically, he has a particularly difficult matchup for Lopes, especially over 5 rounds. Against many other fighters, Lopes could thrive, but against Volkanovski, adjustments and octagon control made all the difference. Then came some unfortunate news. After UFC 396, Lopes revealed that he may have broken both of his feet during the fight. He posted a photo smiling through the pain, joking about some nights ending at the after-party and others ending in the emergency room. Tough does to even begin to describe it. Now let's move on to another major update, Shavkat Rakhmonov. If you were holding out hope that Rakhmonov would return sometime soon, it might be time to reset expectations. It's now being reported that he could be out for nearly another year. Rakhmonov hasn't competed since December 2024, and while fans have been eagerly awaiting his comeback, injuries continue to delay his return. Recently, footage surfaced showing Rakhmonov on crutches with a knee brace. Shortly after, Ariel Helwani reported that Rakhmonov re-injured his knee and underwent surgery, according to his manager. Unfortunately, it is the same leg that has already kept him sidelined for over a year, and the expected recovery timeline is another 9 to 10 months. The news drew reactions across the MMA world, including from Stephen Thompson, who expressed his support and understanding given his own experience with knee injuries. Sportsnet's Aaron Bronster also weighed in, pointing out that this could result in nearly a 2-year layoff in a division that has been moving fast. Following UFC 301 the Fight, Rakhmonov finally broke his silence and released a statement. He acknowledged the challenges of a fighter's path, admitted he'd undergone another surgery, and confirmed his return would be delayed. Still, he emphasized that his goal remains the same and that he plans to come back stronger than ever. Next up, let us talk about Benoit Saidenis and what is next following his big win. Heading into UFC 301, Dan Hooker talked a lot about stopping Saidenis' momentum. Early on, it looked like he might do just that, landing some brutal body kicks and threatening with guillotines. But Saidenis did what he always does. He kept pushing forward. Once the fight hit the ground, Saidenis took over completely. In the second round, he secured another takedown, unleashed a barrage of elbows and punches, and forced the referee to step in. It was another statement win. Now riding a 4-fight win streak, Saidenis is likely headed toward another top contender matchup. Depending on how the lightweight title picture plays out, names like Arman Tsarukyan could be on the table. Saidenis made it clear he is focused on top 5 opponents with his eyes on both the undisputed belt and the BMF title. Elsewhere in the division, Dan Hooker has also stirred up headlines by calling out Michael Chandler for a potential matchup, possibly on the UFC White House card. Moving on, let us talk about the Diaz brothers. Nick Diaz recently found himself back in the spotlight and did hold back when speaking about his brother Nate. In a recent interview, Nick suggested that Nate can come across as distant with fans, while emphasizing that he himself enjoys interacting with people. That said, before anyone jumps to conclusions, the two brothers have been seen together recently, and there's no real indication of serious tension. Knowing their history, it would be surprising if everything is already water under the bridge. Now, for some quick UFC updates. Following UFC 301, there are no numbered events in February, but several solid fight night cards are on the way. We also saw controversy at the weigh-ins when Aaron Tai was caught using the curtain setup to help make weight. The fight was ultimately canceled, and Tai later issued an apology, admitting fault and taking responsibility. There's also an update on the betting scandal involving Alexander Hernandez and Michael Johnson. After the fight was pulled due to suspicious activity, Hernandez released a statement insisting he would never compromise the integrity of the sport and expressing frustration over losing a fight after a full camp. Another update involves Brian Ortega, who officially withdrew from his scheduled fight against Hinata Moicano. Ortega confirmed he's healthy overall but needs time to recover from lingering injuries. He reassured fans that he plans to fight twice this year. Elsewhere, Jose Enrique Souza has withdrawn from his bout against Nikolai Vertenikov, and Magomed Ankalaev has returned to training, though his next opponent remains unknown. Now, to one of the biggest headlines, Jon Jones. Jones has been vocal about wanting a spot on the UFC White House card, but it seems far from guaranteed. In a recent interview, he admitted that many factors are out of his control and that he's unsure if Dana White will move forward with his plans, especially after the Tom Aspinall situation. While Jones says he's staying in shape and living the fighter lifestyle, he acknowledged uncertainty about his future. Dana White has also stated that announcements regarding the White House event won't come until after February. And finally, let us talk about Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje. According to Colby Covington, Gaethje would last more than a minute against Topuria. Covington predicted a devastating knockout and said the matchup favors Topuria heavily. Covington also weighed in on the title picture, questioning whether Kamaru Usman should get the next shot and pointing to younger contenders like Michael Moraes. Still, the fight he wants most is Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, a matchup he believes would determine the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC. With so many moving pieces, the next few weeks could get very interesting as Dana White begins announcing upcoming fights. That is going to wrap it up for today. As video, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you next time.